don't see any hands, which isn't a shock, because as we all know, nobody can predict the future. Well, this is why we are in the courtroom today, because my client, Ms. Reese Witherford, was unable to predict the future, just like you. So after hearing the facts today, I want you to ask yourselves, is it fair that Ms. Witherford be held accountable for failing to predict the future? Now, let me tell you a little bit about who Ms. Witherford really is. Ms. Witherford is a well-respected figure in the community of Jenks County and is the driving force behind the Jenks County Fair Rodeo, an event that has brought joy, excitement, and economic growth to Jenks County, Tennessee. She has done so by making safety her #1 priority, which she has done by hiring top-of-the-line security and by tracking all incidents that occur at Jenks County Rodeo events. Now, today, you will be hearing from several witnesses who will tell you different testimonies. First of them being Ms. Reese Witherford herself, who will tell you many of the several safety precautions she took to make sure that everybody not only had a good time, but was safe. She did so by first searching for somebody who was qualified enough to oversee security. This search resulted in Ms. Witherford finding Mr. Diamond. Mr. Jordan Diamond was able to ensure that security was safe and that incidents were reported, which, as a matter of fact, has shown that the amount of incidents has been decreasing by every single year. Lastly, today, Ms. Witherford will tell you about her ongoing negotiations with Dr. Danny Boone in an attempt to make sure that she could have a well-qualified doctor near the rodeo in case of emergencies at all times. Today, next, you will be hearing from Ms. Jess Danger Jones, who will be telling you today about an incident that occurred on July 18th, 2024 in Wichita, Kansas. This event resulted in Ms. Jasper falling off of her roof and hitting her head against the gate, which caused her to feel symptoms such as headaches, dizziness, and nausea. Yet, she waited a whole month to finally consult a doctor, which leaves you to wonder, who is really responsible in this case? Lastly, today you will be hearing from Dr. Danny Boone, a neurosurgeon who will explain why the injuries in the case today are important to the lawsuit. Today, Dr. Boone will tell you that it was not the event at the JCF rodeo that caused Ms. Jasper's injuries, but rather a previous one, an inherent risk in the dangerous sport that Ms. Jasper chooses to pursue. She also will tell you about a doctor report from the incident that occurred on August 24th, 2024, which states that Ms. Jasper had no symptoms of hemorrhaging or cerebral edema, which are the two most common symptoms seen in those that have suffered from foreign accent syndrome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, by the end of this trial, the plaintiff will have tried to somehow tell you that Ms. Witherford could have known all of this was going to happen. However, unless she was able to predict the future, this simply cannot be possible. Lastly, we ask you to keep in mind, Ms. Witherford has done so very much for the community of Jenks County. It is now her who needs the people's help, which is why after hearing all of the evidence and facts we have to present today, we ask that you find defendant Ms. Reese Witherford not liable. And lastly, we urge you to remember, nobody can predict the future. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Counselors, before we proceed, the court overlooked one of its duties earlier.